What is up, Edison Duelists? This is Dionysus, aka Young Puds, coming at you guys today with some more shameless, hypebeast, Gigavise content. Now, today I have a matchup request from user Outback Yu-Gi-Oh! Outback Yu-Gi-Oh! Has requested to see some gameplay against the Amaryllis deck, and frankly, I couldn't be more excited to show you this. I have a lot of respect for Amaryllis players. When I got started with Gigavise, what really um, you know made me see the potential of the deck was seeing the Amaryllis lists that played Hidden Armory and Miracle Fertilizer come out. I saw that. I said, hey, this is some great synergy. This would be able to get me supervised to my hand. I was doing some quick draw variants, and once I put these Amaryllis cards into Gigavise, it all kind of clicked. It all kind of came together. Of course, I was still playing UFO Turtle, but that's beside the point. So I think Amaryllis is a really cool deck, but I can confidently tell you that Gigavise is just the better deck. If you want to disagree, if you want to huff that copium, feel free to do so in the comments. But for now, let's get into the match. So we do win the die roll, and we are fortunate enough to open up a very strong hand. We have Lone Fire Blossom, we have Supervise, we have Threatening Roar. These are obviously Lone Fire Supervise, I'm stoked to see together, and Threatening Roar, while I have cut it from my current build, I do think that it has a lot of merit. A lot of the ways that decks are able to out your very strong opening board with your Titanial, your Supervise, even the very strongest boards where you have Titanial, Stardust, and a Gigavise up, the best way that they have to out it is with Shura Kalut into Black Rose, is Colossal Fighter Crash into Titanial. So all these really good options are going to require the battle phase. So Threatening Roar, it just kind of blinks the battle phase. It says, hey, my board's going to stick around. Sorry. It also is really good for stalling. It's just going to help you survive. Sometimes you just need that one turn to survive, going into waiting for something with Gold Sark. So I think it does have a lot of merit there. But like I said, I have ultimately decided that it's just better to play a trap that is a little more active. Anyways, we go ahead and just do the standard Power Tool into Gigaplant line. I'm comfortable risking the 2 out of 3 with Power Tool because I do have Miracle Fertilizer in my hand, so I have some kind of crackback available. But as you all know, 66.6% rounds up to 100, so we're not worried. We get the Supervise, we have a Titanial up, we are in a commanding position. So he is going to go ahead and set his whole hand, basically, except for these very cute plant cards. And we are just going to draw, fire the Power Tool, get some more cards. If we get a Mark of the Rose, that's going to pair nicely with the DDR that we just drew. If we get another Supervise, hey, that's even better. So especially because we have that other Supervise, we're going to go ahead and risk playing into Torrential, which he does have. We have plenty to crack back with. We're going to get the Gigaplant back. We have another Supervise to give it, so I don't really mind that he used Torrential. So what is he going to do now? He's going to search Necrogardna, clearly looking for something to survive. This also, very key to point out, does not tell me what deck he is playing. We have seen Sangan, we have seen Necrogardna, we have seen Torrential Tribute. So he is effectively concealing that he is on the Amaryllis deck, which is very smart to do. It's going to affect my side deck patterns, and he does have a second piece of interaction with that Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, which is going to spin the Gigaplant back to the top of my deck. Wasting the Supervise, I'm going to get no value. However, I do still have my normal summon, so I am just going to go ahead and Fertilizer for Titanial. Establishing board presence. I don't want to do a Fert for Lone Fire, because if this Titanial does live, then I'm going to be able to get another Fertilizer effect next turn. Unfortunately for him, he does draw the Trap Dust Shoot, which is just a dead card this late into the game, so he's forced to set the Botanical Lion and pass it back to us. We draw into Gigaplant, which we knew was coming. He had the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, and now we are going to go ahead and Fertilizer to bring out Gigaplant. And just like that, we are going to pass here. He has that new set. It could be a Mirror Force. There's absolutely no reason for us to play into Mirror Force when we have this commanding of a position. We have the Threatening Roar. We have a Titanial up. I'm feeling very safe, very, very cozy. No reason to risk it. Let's just let the Gigaplant kind of steamroll advantage for us. So we're going to do just that. He does have the Trap Dust Shoot. Now that we have 4 cards in the hand, we're going to lose Dandelion, which is unfortunate, but ultimately really not the end of the world. We're still in a very commanding position. So he acknowledges that, and he's actually going to just go ahead and scoop. He sees that we're just going to start wheeling advantage. We have the Titanial to shut down that Wing Blast. His other set isn't anything real, so he is just going to pass it back to us before we see the Botanical Lion, so he has effectively concealed that he is on Amaryllis. And now we see maybe the biggest problem of Amaryllis here. Look at this. 3 level 8s in hand. He does have the Lightning Vortex, which is going to help. And then look at that. He's milling his trade-in. You know, I think the biggest problem with Amaryllis is that relying on trade-in is just not very good. Even in Dragon Turbo, I don't think it's the best, but at least then you're pretty reliably searching. But with Amaryllis, you're kind of, you know, you don't want to draw your level 8s unless you draw trade-in, and you don't want to draw trade-in without the level 8s. And it's 9 cards in your deck. That's just, it's all awkward. So, you know, when Amaryllis works, it definitely works, but I think trade-in is just fundamentally not a very good card. So, now that I have seen that he's on Amaryllis, I am going to go ahead and fire the first Lone Fire to try and quickly establish this Titanial. With Decree, with Book of Moon in my hand, I think I'm going to be able to effectively, you know, protect it and shut him down. And I just want to have that established board presence before things get too out of control. Now, he is going to go ahead and use a Lightning Vortex, which is not great for us. We were really hoping that Titanial could stick. It's going to set his graveyard up a little bit and, you know, also start to unbrick him. Now, we do have the Decree here, which I'm not always going to be putting in Decree against Amaryllis, but since I didn't know what he was on, I saw a lot of traps. I figured it would be a safe bet to side into the Decree package. So we are just going to go ahead and normal summon the Nettles and run right into the Raikou. Raikou's going to pop our Decree, so that's definitely a shame. We're going to think here for a little bit in end phase, and we're actually going to go ahead and MST his back row. It seems like a good opportunity to get rid of it. We really need this Nettles to stick around so then we can make a synchro play next turn. So I determined that it is going to be best to fire the MST now, and that way we're going to be able to ensure that our Book of Moon is going to last, and it's going to give us the protection we need for Nettles. He'll probably summon an Amaryllis in the end phase, but that is an end phase. It's very slow, so Nettles is going to stick around. So he does summon that Amaryllis and pass. He does have the Wing Blast set, and we draw into Twister, which I did slide in to have something to answer Royal Oppression. I'm pretty much always expecting Royal Oppression is coming in games 2 and 3. Doesn't really matter the deck. I feel like everyone is so scared of Gigavise now that they're just going to have it. So we're going to go right into battle phase and run the Nettles into the Amaryllis. He's discarding another Amaryllis. This is going to kind of stink for us because now we're having another turn of just drawing something that's not super helpful. No chance to get an SSN. But kind of same plan. I want to get to that Catastor. Catastor is very, very strong against Titanial decks. Against Amaryllis especially, they really are going to struggle to out it unless they have like Gale or something. So we are going to set that Dandy, and then we're going to use Book of Moon to protect it. So now we are going to hopefully be able to make that Catastor. And in fact, we are. So we'll draw that Nettles for turn, flip up the Dandelion, normal summon the Nettles, and go right into Catastor. And this is going to present a very serious threat for our Amaryllis Enjoyer here. We're going to attack into the face-up Amaryllis. Doesn't really matter which. We're taking 800 either way. But I don't want him to clear my tokens for no reason. I also, want to encourage him to waste his resources. Amaryllis is kind of seen as, oh, this is just infinite bodies, but it's not infinite bodies. You have to have enough plants in the graveyard, and that can be it can be easier said than done, especially when he's not seeing Lone Fire or anything like that. So he is going to Foolish Burial for a Dandelion to put up a bigger wall, put some more plant food in the graveyard for himself, and he's also going to set the Torrential. And I think this is fantastic because putting up those tokens, that's really going to kind of discourage me from thinking that's Torrential. Why would you establish a bigger board and then set Torrential into that. Why not hold the Foolish Burial? So I think that is actually like a really, really good misdirection kind of play. He's encouraging me to overextend into the Torrential, and wouldn't you know it, folks, I just do that when I rip a Super Solar Nutrient. I'm very excited. I'm like, oh, this is great. We're going to go right ahead and get the Lone Fire Blossom. Go ahead and use Lone Fire to get the Gigaplant. We did already fire that first Lone Fire, and now we can normal summon the Gigaplant. And here I'm thinking, all right, well, let's make a Stardust so we're nice and safe. So I bring back the Lone Fire and use its effect to summon a Copy Plant. I apologize. I think I was probably thinking of going for a Power Tool Dragon. Copy the Gigaplant and sync with the token to get either a Mark of the Rose or a Supervise. Both of those would be really excellent right there. But unfortunately, he does have the Torrential now, which is kind of a blowout. We're going to take 1,600 points of damage, and we are now just in a top-decking race. And fortunately for us, we see again, the weakness of this Amaryllis deck is sometimes you're going to get top-decking, and you're just going to draw these level 8s that aren't going to do anything. Meanwhile, we're feeling really good. Drawing Lightning Vortex is a fantastic card. Unless he's able to quickly assemble game, we are going to have an answer to some sort of Titanial board. So now that Supervise that we just drew is going to be unanswerable. He does have the Mark DDR combo, which is fantastic for him, but he doesn't have anything to steal with Mark. Fortunately, he does already have some cards banished, so he is going to fire that DDR, and now that Twister that we have stuck set is going to be insanely powerful, folks. Against this Amaryllis deck, a lot of their plays are reliant on a face-up continuous or equip spell. I'm thinking DDR, I'm thinking Miracle Fertilizer. So Twister is a fantastic answer to that, as well as any floodgates that they might be sighting in against you. So now we do draw the Mark of the Rose here, which means we are off to the races. We can mark the Gigaplant to steal the Amaryllis, and now we are going to DDR, pitching the Lightning Vortex. We need that Supervise a lot more than we need to potentially clear a board in the future, and it's definitely a strike while the iron is hot kind of situation here. So we are going to Supervise for a Nettles, which we would then go into a level 8 Synchro and normal summon the Gigaplant to summon back Titanial, and that is 8,000 points of damage, and our opponent is going to concede just like that. So I think this is just a pretty good showcase of why exactly Gigavise is the better deck. Titanial is just so subject to variance, to inconsistent cards like Trade-In. I'll give you this, AMA players. When Trade-In goes off, it feels so good. It feels so powerful. But in a game like Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to really take a pause and consider if something is actually good or if it just feels good when it works. And I definitely fall into this. There's a lot of cards like UFO Turtle, for example, that feel so good when they work, but ultimately they're just not effective enough. Anyways, I think this was a fantastic match. Shout out to my opponent. Shout out to all of you guys. The channel has been just really blowing up, I feel like, and I'm amazed with the success, and I'm excited to keep bringing you guys more content. So definitely go ahead and subscribe for more daily Shameless Hypebeast Gigavise content. Drop a comment if there's any decks that you would like to see me play against. As I've mentioned before, I've got over 2,000 matches played with Gigavise, so I definitely have played against the deck that you want to see, probably even a good match. I think tomorrow we're going to do a Gigavise mirror match finally. I finally found a good one that wasn't just a one-sided blowout, something with a little back and forth, which is I know that's what you like to see. That's what I like to see when I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what I like to see when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! As fun as it is to just make the unbreakable board and your opponent scoops up, it's much more fun when you get an interactive, high-octane kind of duel. So that's it for me today. This is Dionysus, a.k.a. Young Puds, signing off. See you guys tomorrow with more Shameless Hypebeast Gigavise content.